Yesterday, whilst extricating, I accidentally managed to pull the lid off the box, which I hadn't even thought about. But so I know someone might say, why don't I just lift the lid off and take the beers out to save destroying the box? Now that would be a sensible but not very fun option. So number 8, day 8, and we know, because after yesterday, that we can probably get in here, fucking hell, quite easy. Chums. Oh no. Well, that was worth it. Blueberry wheat. Chris gave me one of these a couple of weeks ago. He said it was alright, but meh. I thought it was alright. So let's get it in the fridge and come back and read another book. Slightly different environment to cover this. I was going to try and get a tripod. It didn't work. Right, let's get this in the glass and I'll tell you a bit about this beer first. Chris gave me a can of this last time we went over and he said, let me know what you think. I think it's alright, but you know, it doesn't really rock my boat. Tell you what I think. It's not Hefeweizen. It's not Hefeweizen. And yeah, it's got some like USO5 yeast and stuff. So it, come on, focus, you bastard. And Bramlin Cross. So it doesn't really count as a Hefeweizen. But it's a bloody beautiful, nice, basic blueberry wheat beer. Oh. And were it not for the fact that it's nearing the end of fucking December, that would be a beautiful summer drink. Now this book, I'll be quick. I'll try and be quick. I might not be very quick. A quick run through. It gives you the basic introduction, okay, about the history, obviously, in Belgium and Germany, but also Great Britain. It mentions Harvey's Brewery down in Lewes, East Sussex. And then a bit about the United States. It gives you, now, having said, we've done all the recipe books. Yeah, okay, look, there are a couple of recipes, both in Wild Brews and in here, but this is more looking at the way sour beers have developed in America, if that makes any degree of sense whatsoever. And the reason I like it is it actually takes examples of what people have done and how they've done it. And this section basic here on the grain bills is worth its weight in gold, purely for the way that it actually spells out. Well, it says lambic and goes, but I mean obviously goes is blended lambic, but it spells out the particular facets of the grain bill. It looks at the water and mashing. It's the only book I've found that's directly mentioned starch gelatinizations. Quite a few will obviously mention the turbid mash, and I mentioned the turbid mash quite a lot as well. It goes into the aged hops and hoppy soured beers. Now, the hops I'm using are some, I think they were Citra and Mosaic hop leaf, which I've just left in bags open actually over in the corner over there, and in a couple of years they might be ready. This is little beeping in the background, won't be a second. Hey, sorry about that. Let's get back to the beasties. So obviously Saccharomyces, it goes through the complete range of what is going to happen to that wort to turn it into beer. It is the most thorough source going. Now the Americans have really taken to this. I think in Europe we've kind of like settled on what we know. Hang on, I forgot. Mm-hmm. Ow. Oh, lovely. So they cover us doing what we know, the classic European methods, and then they go into how a lot of the American breweries have refined theirs. And so we've got here, it does mention Vinnie Chorizo's Russian River Brewing, and there's a lot of references to Will Mayer's Cambridge Brewing Company. In fact, there's a lot of references to all of my favourite breweries, including Allagash. So this particular section expands, and this is where it becomes, and the book for tomorrow has that same quality to it. It becomes more of a narrative and actually looks at taking you through an evaluation of what they do and how they do it, and then applies it to what we can do as little wannabe amateur homebrewers. There's a beautiful section on spontaneous fermentation, and again, from my pretty much three favourite American breweries, apart from obviously Alchemist, but they don't do sours, they just do New England IPAs. So these are my favourite American representatives, and they cover it in some beautiful detail. So, and this is interesting, going into 100% pure just Brett. It's a big book, this, by the way. Getting it right, throwing it in, letting it ferment, and then it has a little discussion at the end. This is where we start leading into tomorrow's. This is about the fermenters and wood aging, and again, for me, this is money in the bank. This is absolute gold dust. Nothing else has really encouraged me to play around with lambics and sours. Obviously, a lot of lambics will be rested on fruits or brewed with fruits. So I'm going to probably rest one of my lambics on raspberries, because raspberries is a good, easy, safe fruit to use, and it doesn't detract from the sourness. It's right, it's not over there. We've got that whole thing about aging and blending. So I don't think the lambics that I have produced, or the lambic styles I have produced, might be wrong, but we'll see, time will tell. I think they're going to need to be blended, so we're then talking about a goes. And this method, the Solera method, Will Mayer's, has several Solera beers, and I think I've put videos up about these in the past. Very rich, very powerful, very just whoa, with a depth deeper than some of the more creative sherries and fortified wines. Beautiful. So this is packaging is interesting. I think who was it, Burning Sky, did a presentation. I need to find out if it's actually on YouTube. If anyone knows, let me know. At BrewCon this year, about packaging lambics and spontaneously fermented beers. I'm not going to be kegging. I will be bottling these, I think, pretty much. So yeah, and what to do when it goes wrong, or what to do to prevent it going wrong. We've all been there. Finally, there's some recipes. So not loads, but there is a nice range, as there is in Wild Brews. So good appendix, excellent bibliography to go and spend some more money, and a very comprehensive index. So I'm not really gonna, and again, this isn't one that I want to sort of like break the spine of too much, but there's loads and loads of mentions in here of how some of my favourite brewers do their stuff, especially Cambridge Brewing, Russian River. And it's a beautiful, nice narrative read. It's just it's a resource, and one of those books that, again, I find I keep referring back to. I know it's beeping in the background, I'm sorry about that. Let me just turn it off. That's my tea. Right, my Monday night tea. So there you go. I commend to you American Sour Beers. It's another one of these encyclopedic reference books. It's beautiful, it really is. If you haven't already done so, a subscription to the channel would be really cool, and push that like button. It tells, or something about the YouTube algorithm telling other people that it's worth watching. Until next time, with this blueberry wheat, which I think Chris has been overly critical of. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. It's a beautiful beer. If anything, it's brewed for the wrong time of year. This is a nice, sat outside with a couple of cans of this. Perfect. Until next time, boys and girls, the next book I hope you'll enjoy as much as me. Until then, whatever you're doing, do it safely, and cheers.